Hello, everyone. I recently acquired a new in box older Dyson, and it's kind of a rare one in America. This is the Dyson DC22 Motorhead. This is one of the first. This is one of the only Dyson canisters sold in America that had a powered nozzle, like a motorized brush, as opposed to a turbine head. It's also their first canister sold in the U.S. Well, actually, it's their only one that uses the digital motor, and it was their first vacuum sold in the U.S. that used a digital motor before their second generation handhelds. So this is kind of an oddball machine, and they're not common here at all. It was also Dyson's most expensive vacuum cleaner they've ever sold here. I'm sure the robot, when it launches, is going to cost more, but these retailed for $7.99, which was a substantial jump over all the other Dysons. And I got lucky, and I've wanted one of these for years, and managed to find one new in the box for a great price. So I thought it'd be worth doing an unboxing. All right, so yeah, let's take a look. So the packaging is, of course, it's beautiful. It looks great. Dyson was always ahead of the curve in terms of great packaging, kind of giving you that feeling that you had just bought something really expensive, like an Apple product, like you bought something superior, whether or not it was in Dyson's case. But looking at the box, you can see on the side here, it has their level 3 root cyclone technology. This is what they currently use in their kinetic vacuum cleaners. They don't acknowledge that it's 3 layers, but it is. And this was by far their best separation system available. These can handle a lot of fine dust, and the filters take forever to get dirty. It's a really excellent system, and I've never owned a canister that used the level 3 root cyclone technology, but their DC17, their only upright that used it, was fantastic. It's still my favorite Dyson upright, and it's much, much better than most other machines. On the back, it shows all of the features. You can see what it looks like all set up there. Hopefully, this wand isn't too bulky. I believe on these Motorhead vacuums, you can't detach the wand. You couldn't on the DC21 or 23, and it was kind of a bizarre design choice. But hopefully it's tolerable. I'll take the good and the bad given how rare the machine is. As you can see here, they also have a little, they point out their Dyson digital motor. It was the first vacuum cleaner Dyson sold in America with the digital motor. Their only canister they've ever sold, and they've never made an upright that used one yet. I'm sure they will eventually. I'm assuming once your manufacturing costs are less than than a conventional motor. And then of course, as on every Dyson product, you've got a picture of James Dyson. Looks like he is next to a DC04 type, some type of prototype, and what looks like a prototype root cyclone pack. Yeah, so you can expect that, and then on the top you can see that the machine, it all wraps up nicely and stores in one compact unit. Abroad, this machine was referred to as the Dyson Baby. It was like one of their small ones, not as small as the Dyson City, but smaller than their full-size machine. All right, so let's tear into this. Okay, so the unit was wrapped in plastic, but I noticed the tape is already broken. This machine originally was sold, I believe this dates back to 2009 or 2010, so it's been sitting in storage for quite a while. Let's go ahead and open this up. That pulls down. Okay, so the first thing you see is Dyson's Quick Start Guide, and this is with every product, the Dyson Story. Let's see. It looks the cover's different than it is on newer ones. Let's see here. So you've got the idea for the cyclone, the problem for bags, and him getting pushback from the vacuum industry not accepting it, their first vacuum, how them suing and winning a lawsuit against Hoover, and then this shows how old this is. This is a new way to clean. This was the DC15, their first ball upright, which was originally sold in 2006. They're on their third generation ball upright now, yeah. So this is you can tell this is a little bit older. Let's see here. Okay, that Okay, that just pulls right out. Let's take a look. We've got, got the hose here. Oh, looks like this might all just come out in one pull. Oh, geez. Okay, I don't want to damage anything. All right. This all came out in one big mess. Their packaging is a little more thought out now, at least in terms of how it's packaged. But let's see here. So we've got. Whoa! The wand extended on me. Go ahead and retract that for now. Set this aside. We'll dig into that in a moment. Let's take a look here. Get some of this nonsense out of the way. Some of this cardboard. Let's see here. On the bottom of this, we have some more cardboard. The tools for the time. These have kind of become the standard, but this is an early version of their combo tool. Now the brushes are fanned out more and they're a little bit softer than they are here. But there it is. This would be one of, again, like their first gen tools like this. Now they're standard on all Dyson vacuums. I still miss a separate, higher quality dusting brush and upholstery tool, but Dyson's gonna Dyson, so it is what it is. Here's their, this is their last, I guess last generation bare floor brush. This is, they've since come out with the excellent articulating hard floor tool, one of my favorite bare floor nozzles. But this looks like a very competent bare floor brush. It's got nice gaps there to catch larger stuff, and it's nice and soft, and it's got bigger wheels than they usually put on newer Dysons, so that looks like it would do an excellent job. And here's the Motorhead. This is an electric power nozzle, a rarity on Dyson vacuums. They don't throw these on their new sweepers too often. They do in Japan, but nowhere else in the world, which is a shame because their best cleaning canisters by far are the ones with power heads. Brushes, they're not super stiff, and this nozzle itself is actually also, it's narrow. So hopefully it cleans okay. Maybe the performance is comparable to like the DC22 or something like that. We'll see. Again, I'm going to take the good with the bad for the novelty of the machine. But it looks like you can pop the brush roll out fairly easily. It looks like you flip this up, you use a coin to unscrew this, and then you can access it. The wheels are coated in rubber, which I don't think they do that on the small wheels on newer Dysons. So there it is, a unique Motorhead. They only sold it with this model. That was the only one you got this with. So I've never seen one of these in person before. That's pretty cool. Very clear, as you can see. That'll dirty up in no time and look like garbage, but that's okay. And that's it for the box, so let's take a look at the unit. Okay, so there it is. I don't know if the hose detaches at all. It might be permanently attached to both ends. A really annoying thing that they did on the Dyson City, because you couldn't store it as compactly as they had pretended that you could. But whatever, this one, at least it all wraps up. So there it is. It is very small in person. Nice and cute. Oh wow, I love the color. Here's the bin. Again, this is a level 3 root cyclone pack. Like all Dysons, you can empty it very easily. You just push that and it all falls out. There's a kind of a dish. They do this on, where on a lot of their canisters to add more space to the bottom of the bin and save on storage. You've got huge donut-shaped gaskets on the bottom here, and this like bowl in the center, that's for the level 3, so that area is sealed. And I don't know if you can see that too well in here, but there's the center cyclone, and then this ring here is where all the other cyclones spit out the dirt. So it's in 3 stages, which means you get really excellent dust separation. The bin looks small. It doesn't look like it would hold a ton of dirt, but it does look like the other level 3 models, the bin's not going to get dirty quickly at all. Isn't that lovely? That looks really nice. The canister itself right here, we got a power button and a cord rewind. Looks like this has a light illuminating around it. They did that for a while with the older canisters, an indicator light to let you know if there's an issue. And let's see if I can figure out how to access the pre-motor filter. Oh boy. How in the heck? I see the filter. I just have no clue how to get to it. Alright. I see. Oh, okay. It looks like maybe you have to do this and then it pulls out. That would be my guess. And then the HEPA filter is, and then the HEPA filter can be accessed on the underside. Okay, so there it is. Let's see if I can wrap this up. I'm going to pop this off. It is very cute. Doesn't look like the hose is removable. That is annoying, but it is what it is. Let's see here. The hose is a decent length. And the way this works, this is a really bizarre choice too. On their powerhead models, they put this coupling here, and the hose can swivel here, but nowhere else. But it has this here. But no, I've never seen a vacuum company, use a weird collar setup like this. It's only Dyson and only on their power nozzle canisters that they've sold here. I don't know if they still do that on their current powerhead models that they sell in Japan. The hose is pretty stiff. Oh boy. Let's see if I can... Okay, alright, so there we go. This is going to need to, hopefully this will loosen up a little bit over time, but this has a very new old stock feel to it, new sitting in storage for a long, long time. And then you can throw this parks on the back, like so. While it's parked, of course it rubs on the floor because Dyson. But there it is. So as you can see, whoops, okay, that just fell right off. The DC22, honestly in person, with it all wrapped up, a little bit larger than I was expecting, but it is what it is. You've got wand controls. You don't get this too often on Dysons, pretty uncommon. And then the wand here, you push this. It's an all plastic wand and big. It's the thick wand, and it telescopes, so you can see for your cleaning. Okay, so let me get this a little bit more set up, and I'll give this a quick test. All right. All right, now it's all set up and ready to go. It's plugged in. The cord's not long, but it is very, very soft. It's probably only around 15 feet. As I said, you've got wand controls. This wand it's kind of heavy in the hands. It is. The hose is longer than most Dyson canisters. Usually they're like 6 feet, and maybe this is a hair longer, which is welcome. Power head's pretty narrow. Now when I turn this on, the nice thing is that the digital motor makes a very unique sound. We'll see how this translates to camera, but here we go. Oh, it's 2 speeds. I just turned it down. That's low speed. Turn the brush off. Turn the brush roll on. Oh, no, that's high speed. Now I'll turn the brush on. There we go. It lifts up on the backwards pass, but even though I thought the brush roll initially looked kind of wimpy, it is grooming quite nicely. The power head's a little noisy. It's not as good as their newer efforts, but get this over. The swivel action's very nice, and the power head's not jumping or skipping. Leaving surprisingly good carpet lines. And let's see if I can... Oh yeah. Cleans right under my couch. Or my coffee table. That's nice. Huh. Whoop. Like I snagged something. Oh, I picked up a rubber band. Whoops. Alright, let's... Sorry, it's all shaky since I'm trying to... Rubber bands always make weird noises around the brush. It looks like this swivels up. Does it swivel all the way around? Pretty close. Oh. More stuff caught in there. Whoops. Pretty. See if I can do my couch with it. Oh, very nice. I just gave the Dyson DC22 a quick test through my home, and a couple things I noted. The hose suction, the suction itself is excellent. The digital motor is very powerful. It makes a pretty shrill whine. It sounds almost identical to their Airblade hand dryers, if you're familiar with those. Those used I think those came out at the same time, and yeah, have that same noise. It's got 2 speeds, which I do appreciate. It's got a gentle lower speed and a higher speed for full power. 2 speeds on a cyclonic vacuum is pretty rare, because the Cyclone pack is really designed, it's designed to work usually within the limitations of a single speed. So you don't see 2-speed Dysons too often outside of their hand vacs, and a handful of their canisters. Usually those machines, I think maybe they all do, have digital motors. The filtration system, the 3 layers in the Cyclone pack is phenomenal. The filter doesn't have a speck of dust on it, and I think it'll probably stay that way for a long time. I plan to give this a workout despite my my noted grievances. It is versatile. You know, on their new canisters, they don't all include a bare floor brush, but this one came with a very nice bare floor brush. The last generation bare floor brush did a fantastic job on my hard floors. It did a pretty good job on carpet. The brush roll with the softer brushes and the gaps in the brushes, I wasn't expecting it to do as well as it did. It did do a pretty good job. My carpets feel nice and clean. For like as your only vacuum, if you had wall-to-wall carpet, I don't think that this would cut it. I think you would want really want a vacuum cleaner with a more legitimate brush roll to really groom and pull up the fine dust at the bottom of the carpet. And also, another thing I like about it, it just looks really cool. It's a really neat looking vacuum from 7 years ago. I mean, it really looks way ahead of its time. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that I noted immediately that are holding it back. The first thing I noticed when I was using it, the wand is pretty heavy to hold in the hands. Honestly, there's more weight at the top of this wand than there is in most uprights. So by the time I was done cleaning my apartment, you know, adult male, I was pretty exhausted. So not ideal there. It's even though the filtration system is excellent, the way the bin is designed, dirt will get caught up in the bin. You know, with the very, very newest Dysons that are coming out this year, they have remedied that, and they scrape and eject all the dirt out of the bin. So that's a nice innovation and a huge improvement. But it's likely that when you empty it, you're going to have to reach in and pull the dirt out, like on their hand vacs currently, and a lot of their uprights. A flaw they're finally addressing, but they didn't, and you know, when this was new. The hose, these blow molded hoses, which you can't remove from either end. It is permanently attached to the machine, which I consider a huge flaw. I mean, God forbid you get a clog in the hose. What the hell are you supposed to do? The hose is very stiff and unwieldy. Hopefully it loosens up over time, but I've used all the Dysons. Like, I've used a lot of vacuums. I've repaired thousands of vacuum cleaners. I did it professionally for years, and I've seen it all, and kind of inexcusable. The machine, the digital motor does have a really cool sound. I'll turn it on. There's the low speed, and you hear it turn off pretty fast. It's got a really cool sound. It's loud, and it's also high pitched, a kind of high pitched whine that if you were exposed to that, if you were like using this thing commercially, I mean, it could give you tinnitus. Like, it's pretty noisy. The power head obviously could be a lot more aggressive than it is. You can see the gaps in the brushes. The brushes themselves are they're fairly soft, but with these gaps, it doesn't groom. It doesn't clean as well as it should, really. Like, considering it has the filtration system to handle the most aggressive brush roll on the market, no problem, I would consider that kind of inexcusable, but this was at the height of when Dyson was pulling this stuff and still selling millions of vacuums, so they didn't care. The cord is pretty short. We're looking at around 15 feet, so I have a small home, but as I go from room to room, I have to unplug the Dyson, plug it into another room. I would probably have to unplug the Dyson 4 times to clean my 5-room home. And yeah, and because outside of that though, it's a really unique machine. It's kind of an interesting. It's cool for me anyways to see to see one of these brand new. I always wanted to play around with one of these, and it's fun to see it in person. As a day-to-day cleaner, legitimately flawed. I could not recommend it for daily use, as it is pretty tiring to use, and has a lot of issues. In terms of performance and usability, it's really versatile. It's really cool, but it is flawed. Yeah, so here it is, the DC22 Motorhead. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, kind of an interesting piece of vacuum history. A really, really progressive company. They kind of set the bar, but they don't always knock it out of the park. This is a very unique machine, but also a very flawed machine that I would not recommend for daily use, despite its merits. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and have a great day.